I never thought I would be in this position. 8 years of what I believed was a perfect marriage to Melanie, destroyed when I caught her cheating with a coworker from her marketing firm. The text messages I found left nothing to the imagination. But the real shock came after the confrontation. Instead of apologizing, my wife suggested we try an open marriage to fix things. I reluctantly agreed, never expecting to find a connection with anyone. Then I started spending time with Jessica, her best friend since college. Now Melanie is furious, claiming I have crossed a line. Before I tell you how my wife's plan completely backfired, drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from, and hit subscribe if you've ever had someone regret giving you exactly what they asked for. I met Melanie during my final year of architecture school at the University of Washington. She was studying marketing, brilliant and captivating with her quick wit and ambitious plans. Our paths crossed at a campus coffee shop when she spilled her latte on my final project sketches. Instead of being upset, I was mesmerized by her confident apology and offered to help recreate my work. That afternoon turned into dinner, which turned into the most intense 6 months of dating before I proposed. The early years of our marriage were challenging, but fulfilling. I struggled to establish myself at an architectural firm during the economic downturn, while Melanie quickly rose through the ranks at a digital marketing agency. She supported us financially during my career struggles, something she would later use against me. When I finally landed a position at a respected firm specializing in sustainable design, our life together seemed to find its perfect rhythm. We bought a modern 3-bedroom house in Seattle's Fremont neighborhood. We talked about starting a family eventually, though Melanie always found reasons to delay. Career milestones, travel plans, and financial goals always took precedence. I was patient, believing we had all the time in the world. The first changes were subtle. 3 years ago, Melanie started working increasingly late hours as she pursued a promotion to senior director. Her company hired several new executives, including David, a charismatic marketing strategist from New York. Suddenly, team meetings required weekend hours. Business trips became more frequent. Networking events multiplied. I noticed her paying more attention to her appearance. New clothes appeared in our closet, more revealing than her usual professional attire. Her gym sessions doubled. She became protective of her phone, always placing it face down and taking calls in another room. When I asked about these changes, she dismissed my concerns as insecurity. "The industry is changing, Hassan. I need to keep up with the younger crowd," she would say, never making eye contact. The devastating discovery came on a Tuesday evening when Melanie forgot her tablet at home while rushing to yet another emergency client meeting. A notification appeared on the screen displaying a message from David. "Last night was incredible. I can't wait to taste you again." My hands trembled as I opened her messages, each text more explicit than the last. Photos. Hotel confirmations. Inside jokes about me. Plans for their next encounter. The evidence spanned months, revealing an affair that had begun shortly after David joined the company. When Melanie returned home at 11 that night, I was sitting at our dining room table with her tablet open to the messages. "What are you doing with my tablet?" she demanded before noticing what was displayed on the screen. The color drained from her face. "How long has this been going on?" I asked quietly. Instead of remorse, Melanie shifted immediately to defense. "It is just physical, Hassan. It does not mean anything. 7 months of secret hotel meetings does not happen by accident," I replied. "You have been emotionally distant," she countered. "Always working late on your projects, barely noticing me anymore." I reminded her that I had tried to plan 3 weekend getaways in the past year, all canceled due to her work commitments, which now made perfect sense. For 2 weeks, we existed in painful limbo. I consulted a divorce attorney who outlined the process and financial implications. I could not eat or sleep properly, losing 8 pounds as I contemplated ending our marriage. Then came Melanie's unexpected proposal over dinner at home. "I have been doing some research," she said, placing her wine glass down carefully. "Many modern couples are exploring open marriages. It allows for honesty about physical needs while maintaining emotional commitment. I stared at her in disbelief. You want permission to continue cheating. Not cheating, she corrected. Ethical non-monogamy. We are too young to limit ourselves sexually. This could actually strengthen our relationship by removing the pressure of meeting all each other's needs. She had clearly rehearsed this speech, probably with David's input. She emphasized that many successful couples were embracing this lifestyle, that jealousy was just a social construct we could overcome, that complete honesty moving forward would rebuild our trust. What she really wanted was to continue her affair without the inconvenience of sneaking around. After 8 years together, the thought of divorce devastated me. I still loved her despite everything. Maybe this was just a phase she needed to work through. I will think about it, I said finally. A week later, I reluctantly agreed to her proposal, feeling cornered. We established ground rules that suspiciously benefited her existing situation. No mutual friends, discretion around our social circle, no bringing partners to our home, regular check-ins about our feelings, and either party could veto specific relationships. As I signed up for this arrangement, I never wanted. I felt a hollowness spreading inside me. This was not what I had envisioned when I said my vows. But I was not ready to let go of us, completely clinging to hope that this phase would pass and we might somehow find our way back to each other. The first months of our open marriage were excruciating. Melanie wasted no time officially dating David, no longer hiding their relationship. She would come home late, smelling of his cologne sometimes, not returning until morning with thinly veiled excuses about working late or drinking too much to drive. Meanwhile, I could not bring myself to pursue other relationships. The thought felt wrong despite our agreement. I threw myself into work, taking on additional projects and volunteering for a community design initiative, creating sustainable housing for low-income families. Anything to fill the evenings alone in our increasingly empty-feeling home. Friends began noticing something was off. Melanie and I attended fewer social gatherings together. When we did, the tension between us was palpable. I deflected questions, protecting Melanie's reputation and our private business, though she seemed less concerned about discretion as weeks passed. Jessica started reaching out more frequently. She and Melanie had been best friends since their freshman year of college, practically inseparable, until Melanie's career took precedence. Jessica was an elementary school art teacher with a creative spirit and gentle demeanor, someone I had always appreciated but never spent time with independently of Melanie. Melanie mentioned you two are going through some changes, she said during a coffee meeting she had initiated. I just wanted to check that you are okay. I was vague at first, but Jessica's genuine concern wore down my defenses. During our third coffee meeting, I revealed the truth about the affair and subsequent open marriage arrangement. She did what Jessica's shock seemed genuine. That is not how she explained it to me at all. She said you both mutually decided to open things up because you were growing apart. Growing apart because she was sleeping with David for 7 months, I clarified. Jessica shook her head, visibly disturbed. I'm so sorry, Hassan. That is not right. Not how relationships should work. Over the following weeks, Jessica and I began meeting regularly. She shared her own romantic disappointments, including a fiancé who had left her for his coworker 2 years earlier. We understood each other's pain in ways others could not. I discovered that Jessica and I shared interests. Melanie never appreciated hiking the mountain trails outside Seattle, watching classic films, discussing architecture and art. She volunteered at the same community center where I was working on the housing initiative, teaching art classes to children from the neighborhood. What began as friendly support evolved organically into deeper connection. Jessica listened attentively when I spoke, remembered details about my projects, and genuinely cared about my well-being. The contrast with my increasingly distant marriage was stark. One evening after volunteering, we grabbed dinner at a small Italian restaurant. The conversation flowed effortlessly for hours, covering childhood memories, professional aspirations, and philosophical perspectives on relationships. I believe commitment should be a daily choice, not just a one-time promise, Jessica said, while discussing her views on marriage. Every day, you wake up and choose that person again. Walking her to her apartment afterward, an unexpected moment of silence fell between us as we reached her door. Before I realized what was happening, we were kissing. The connection felt electric, genuine, and immediately complicated by guilt. We pulled apart simultaneously. "We cannot do this," I said, though every part of me wanted to. "I know," Jessica agreed. "Melanie is my best friend, and you are still married regardless of the arrangement." We agreed to create distance to protect everyone involved from further pain. For 2 weeks, we communicated only through group settings and brief friendly texts. But the connection between us remained undeniable, growing stronger despite our efforts to suppress it. During a rainy Saturday afternoon when Melanie was out with David, Jessica called me in tears after receiving news that her father had been hospitalized. I drove to her apartment without hesitation, holding her as she processed her fears and arranged travel to visit him. That afternoon crystallized what I had been feeling. This was not a rebound or revenge attraction. What Jessica and I had was genuine, based on mutual respect and understanding rather than convenience or history. "I cannot stop thinking about you," I finally admitted. "And I feel terrible about it." "I feel the same way," she confessed. "I have tried not to, but I cannot help it." We discussed the impossible situation at length. According to the technical rules of my open marriage, I was free to pursue this relationship. But Jessica's friendship with Melanie complicated everything. "She is with David right now," I pointed out. "How is this different?" "Because she is my best friend, and there are decades of history there," Jessica explained. "It feels like betrayal, even though logically it should be acceptable under your agreement." After several more conversations and weeks of resistance, we decided to cautiously explore our connection. I asked Jessica if we could keep things private initially, not out of shame, but to avoid the inevitable drama until we were certain about our feelings. Our first official date felt both forbidden and more natural than anything I had experienced in years. We hiked to a waterfall outside the city, talking the entire journey. For the first time since discovering Melanie's infidelity, I felt genuine joy returning to my life. As weeks passed, I found myself looking forward to time with Jessica more than returning home. I applied lessons from my failing marriage, making sure to communicate openly, express appreciation regularly, and never take her presence for granted. Jessica approached our relationship with equal intention, creating space for difficult conversations rather than avoiding them. Melanie began noticing changes in my behavior. I was no longer waiting anxiously for her return or asking about her plans with David. I had stopped seeking her approval or attention. Most telling was my improved mood and subtle confidence that emerged from being truly valued. "You seem different," she commented one morning as we passed in the kitchen. "Are you seeing someone?" I had been honest from the beginning about spending time with a friend who was helping me through this difficult period, though I had not specified who. Now, following our agreement rules, I confirmed I was dating someone. Her expression shifted immediately. "Anyone I know. I would rather not discuss details right now," I answered, echoing the boundaries she had established when first dating David. "We are still figuring things out." Melanie's questioning intensified over the following days. She began texting more frequently when I was out, asking where I was and when I would return. She suggested weekend activities for us together, something she had not done in over a year. She even initiated physical intimacy one night, seeming hurt when I gently declined. The accidental discovery happened at Romano's, an Italian restaurant across town, where Jessica and I believed we were safely away from potential run-ins with anyone we knew. After a wonderful dinner, I reached across the table to hold her hand, feeling more connected than ever. Neither of us noticed Melanie entering with a work colleague, until she was standing at our table, her face a mixture of shock and fury. "Jessica and Hassan. Are you kidding me right now?" The restaurant patrons nearby turned toward the commotion. Jessica withdrew her hand, but maintained her composure. "Melanie, "This is not the place to discuss this," I said quietly. "How long has this been going on?" She demanded, ignoring my statement. "We can talk at home," I insisted. "Please." The confrontation resumed in our living room 2 hours later. Melanie paced furiously, hurling accusations of betrayal and deception. "Of all the people, Hassan, my best friend. That is the line you do not cross." I remained calm, though my heart raced. "We have an open marriage agreement. You are still seeing David." "That is completely different," she shouted. "David is not your best friend. Jessica knows everything about our relationship, our problems. She has used that information to manipulate you." "That is not what happened," I countered. "Jessica has been honest and supportive through a situation she never created. You did with your affair." The argument escalated until I suggested we all talk together. I texted Jessica, who arrived 30 minutes later, visibly nervous but resolute. The three-way conversation was painfully honest. Jessica explained how our connection developed naturally through friendship and mutual support. I reiterated that according to the open marriage rules Melanie herself had established, this relationship was permitted. "I never thought you would actually date someone else," Melanie finally admitted, "especially not someone I know and care about." The truth emerged clearly. The open marriage had been designed as a one-sided arrangement to legitimize her affair, not to give me the same freedom. She had assumed I would remain faithful despite our agreement, too devastated or incapable of attracting someone else. "You have to choose," Jessica Melanie finally said. "Him or me. You cannot have both." Jessica looked between us, tears forming, but resolve strengthening. "I care about you deeply, Melanie. You have been my friend for 17 years. But I cannot let you dictate my heart or Hassan's. If that means losing your friendship, that will hurt tremendously. But I need to be true to myself." Melanie left, slamming the door behind her. The fallout rippled through our social circle as Melanie shared her version of events, painting herself as the victim of our betrayal. Some friends took her side immediately. Others, who had witnessed her behavior with David before the open marriage arrangement, were more understanding of our situation. In the weeks that followed, Melanie's anger transformed into desperate attempts to reconcile. She ended things with David, sending me proof of their breakup text conversation. She suggested couples therapy, promised to close our marriage again, and reminisced about our happier times together. "I made a mistake with the open marriage," she admitted during one conversation. "I see that now. We can fix this if you just end things with Jessica." But watching Melanie's rapid transformation clarified what I had been slowly realizing. Her concern was not about losing me, but about losing control of the narrative and appearing as the one who had been left. When I gently but firmly told her I wanted a divorce, her tactics shifted again from reconciliation to sabotage. She contacted Jessica's workplace anonymously, suggesting improper behavior. She told mutual friends I had been emotionally abusive. She delayed divorce proceedings with legal maneuvers and refused reasonable property divisions. Her unpredictability confirmed I had made the right decision, painful as the process was. I moved out of our shared home into a small apartment across town, needing space to process everything. My brother Mark helped me move, offering his unwavering support and occasional couch to crash on during the most difficult days. The distance provided perspective I desperately needed. The divorce process dragged on for 9 months, as Melanie contested various aspects of our separation. Throughout this challenging period, Jessica and I maintained our relationship, but agreed to progress slowly, both aware of the complex emotions involved. We dated exclusively, but maintained separate living spaces, giving each other room to heal individually. I began seeing a therapist who helped me understand my role in the deterioration of my marriage. I had ignored red flags, suppressed my own needs, and enabled behaviors that ultimately hurt both of us. These insights helped me build healthier patterns with Jessica and within myself. Surprisingly, several friends remained supportive throughout the transition. My co-workers at the architectural firm respected my privacy while offering subtle encouragement. Jessica's closest friends, who had witnessed her previous heartbreak, welcomed me, cautiously protective of her, but willing to give me a chance. 6 months after moving out, I secured a modest one-bedroom apartment in Capitol Hill, decorating it with my architectural designs and furniture that reflected my personal style for the first time in years. Jessica helped me select artwork and plants that transformed the space into a true home. We cooked dinner together, regularly explored the city on weekends, and built traditions that belonged solely to us. The divorce finalized on a rainy Tuesday morning. I felt an unexpected mixture of sadness and relief as I signed the final papers. A significant chapter of my life had officially ended, yet the grief was tempered by the authentic relationship I had found with Jessica. 3 weeks later, Jessica and I encountered Melanie and David at a restaurant downtown. They had apparently reconciled, though the tension between them was visible even from across the room. Melanie looked away immediately, while David appeared uncomfortable with the situation. "Are you okay?" Jessica asked as we walked back to the car. "Surprisingly, yes," I answered truthfully. "I wish them well, but I do not envy them." Through a mutual friend, I later learned that Melanie regretted her actions deeply. Her relationship with David had become strained once the excitement of secrecy was removed. She missed both my stability and Jessica's friendship, realizing too late the value of what she had discarded. As our first anniversary approached, Jessica and I took a weekend trip to the San Juan Islands. Watching the sunset from our cabin porch, I reflected on the unexpected journey that had brought us together. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if Melanie had never suggested the open marriage? Jessica asked, reading my thoughts. I would probably still be in an unhappy relationship, unaware of what real partnership feels like, I admitted. The painful proposal that was meant to justify Melanie's affair had inadvertently led me to discover authentic love. Jessica chose me daily, not out of habit or convenience, but because she genuinely wanted to. Our relationship was built on honesty from the beginning, strengthened by challenges rather than fractured by them. Now, sharing my story from the other side of that pain, I can see how sometimes the worst betrayals lead us exactly where we need to be. The open marriage that was designed to maintain Melanie's control ultimately freed me to find someone who valued me completely. I learned that love is not about possession or convenience. Real partnership means growing together while supporting individual evolution. It means choosing each other deliberately, not simply staying because leaving seems too complicated. Most importantly, it means being valued for yourself, never as someone's backup plan or safe option. Have you ever had someone regret giving you the freedom they thought you would never use? Share your story in the comments below. If this journey resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to support this channel. Consider sharing this video with someone who might be staying in a relationship for the wrong reasons or needs encouragement to seek the love they truly deserve. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember that sometimes the most painful decisions lead to the most authentic joy. You deserve someone who chooses you completely, not just when it is convenient.